Displaced flood victims in Mthatha have been evicted from the B&Bs in which they were being temporarily accommodated. They will now be sent back to community halls because the contract has ended. Promises of temporary shelter for the victims have so far fallen short, although the Eastern Cape government says construction of houses is underway. Newzroom Afrika's Liyema Vumisa is live and joins us once more. Liyema, with the flood victims now being displaced, it seems as though community leaders are stepping in to help some family members.
That's right, Katleho, and I mean, you can imagine under the dire situation that they find themselves, they have to constantly be on the move from place to place. This, of course, comes then just one portion of those residents or flood victims of the Mthatha floods have been housed at a house in the area of Callaway, right here in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape by a local pastor of the religious sector. We understand the pastor is Pastor Machaya. He then accommodated all of the displaced flood victims who were chased out of a school that was provided by the municipality. You'd understand then, of course, that school had since opened for the learners, and then that would, ultimately be disrupting the teaching and learning or caring at the school if there is also flood victims that are housed there. Right now, joining me is in fact one of those residents who find themselves in this very same house behind me. Sisiboniswa enkosi kakhulu ngoba kunye nathi. Mhlambi masiqala apha benihlaliswa esikolweni. Nakhutshwa esikolweni, nasiwe holweni, nabona imeko yaseholweni enisiwe kuyo ingenhlanga. Kwenzeke ntoni? Sakubambe.
Okay, bhuti wam, ndiyabulela ngelithuba. Into enzekile bhuti sesahlala esikolweni, ekuhlaleni kwethu esikolweni kwacaca into yokuba uprincipal uthi akalali buthongo ngokuba esibona siphanga phakathi. Uthe kusenjalo saphuma esikolweni, sincedwa ngumasipala ethu usisa emaholweni. Salayishwa ngebhasi xa litshona ilanga saya emaholweni. Xa sifika emaholweni imeko yethu ayintlanga, akho mbane, akho manzi, akho toilet. Kwanyanzeleka into kokubana xa sivuka saxelelwa thina basibathathu ukuba ndinengxaki yomlenze, umakhulu ogugileyo plus nomnye umama omdala, sawucela kwa kwi-next door. Ndiyafowunelwa kuthiwa yho sihambile ke ukuhambeni kwethu sincedwe ngutata uMachaya nobhuti bethusile into kokuba simuve kule meko siyibona yeholo engekhontle. Ndifike sebehlala ke ngoku kule ndawo sikuyo apha eCallaway edolophini.
Kule ndawo nisifumana nikuyo ngawo lo mzuzu, ithini imicelimngeni enihlangabezane nayo? Ndiyacinga into abantwana kufuneke baye esikolweni nempilo yenu ayintlanga nawe uphila nenkubazeko.
Injalo bhuti linene ingokokuba asilali buthongo ngenxa sicinga into yabantwana babaza kwenza njani. Siphinde sifikelele into kokuba siyayicela imicelimngeni into yoba sicela sincediswe nge-scholarship aside sisifumane, asikayiva mpendulo ebuyayo ethi noko kuyazanywa okanye kwenzeka ntoni. Kwicela nemcelingeni wendawo uba ingase side sibone uba siyobekwaphi umuntu akwazi uba uhlala nosapho lwakhe ngohlobo oko sisehleli apha utata uMachaya.
Zithini izithembiso zikamasipala mayelana nexesha lokuba nisiwe kwezi temporary structures?
Asikafumani into kumasipala into kokuba usihambisa xa kunini. Siseva nje amayembe ba ziyenziwe i-temporary kodwa asikafumani mntu oza kuthi asixelele into kokuba kunje ngoku silapha ngoku.
Injani impilo apha ngaphakathi? Nihlala endaweni enye nibanintsi?
Ewe tata, kwelam igumbi silala sisixhenxe, kwamanye amagumbi balishumi, kwamalinye igumbi siyashiyana ngokweba elingakanani inani. Abantu babulaleka kakhulu ngabantwana kwabaninzi ngaphezu kwethu thina abantu badala bayaxinana sibe sinalo uxinezelo uba iingubo zabo abanazo kunye nezibhonje.
Alright, sisiboniswa enkosi kakhulu ngexesha lakho. Well, there you can have it. Katleho, the situation is dire, according, of course, to the sentiments that are shared there by the resident or one of the flood victims. Of course, she's mentioning a variety of things, amongst those, of course, talking about the fact that since they were housed here, they find now themselves having to congregate at the same house whilst there's multitudes of them inside this house. Matter of fact, I think in our next crossing, we'll be able to enter this house or even just try to collect some visuals because it is a cramped place. It was previously not occupied by anyone, but was made available by the local pastor. She also mentions that as a person that lives with disability, the municipality has forsaken her alongside the flood victims that she is staying inside these premises with. Also mentioning the fact that the learners, I beg your pardon, the learners that they have who are their children, they don't have the means to go to school because there's no transportation for them, and then they find themselves also staying in this area. We do understand then, Katlego, being told also by the flood victims that the mayor of the King Sabata Talengebo municipality had since come to visit this very same premise, not owned by the municipality, but to offer his apologies to these flood victims for the place that he had made available as a municipality, which is a community hall, which this resident, Testimonies, tells us was not a comfortable place for them to be able to reside in. There were animals inside, the windows were broken, there are no toilets, so on and so forth. You can imagine the mayor coming to this house to offer his apologies. As for the case of the temporary structures, when are they going to be built? Are there any other plans to give them a comfortable living for the interim whilst those temporary structures are being erected? There is no response as far as that is concerned.